Do we know why China fired its defense minister?
I don't think we know exactly why yet. I mean, I think that there's a lot of suspicion and perhaps some likelihood that it was related to corruption. We also saw reporting from China that there was specifically investigations ongoing into the equipment development department and kind of related areas of the PLA where Li Shangfu came from, and specifically the investigations I believe were connected to the time when he was head of that, and so that's part of the reason why there's suspicion that it's around corruption. And we know that corruption has been the downfall of a lot of other former PLA leaders, so it's certainly not out of the question. I think still waiting to learn exactly more what happened, but I think that's the likeliest guess for now.
In terms of an operational capacity, is this going to affect China's military, also known as the PLA?
You know, I don't think on an operational level this has much of a specific impact. The defense minister's role in China is really more of a bureaucratic one, and largely one of its most important functions is to be kind of the face of the PLA abroad. So meeting with counterparts abroad, which for China on the foreign policy front, disappearing its defense minister with no real reason for weeks is part of the reason I think other countries have been concerned about this. But in terms of operations, I don't see this as having a major impact, in the immediate term. I do think, though, more broadly, I think it potentially has some significance in terms of creating doubt in the PLA's leadership, among the rank and file, but also, some concern within the party leadership about, the loyalty and kind of propriety of their top officials.
Looking forward, what can we expect from the U.S. and Taiwan in terms of engaging with China now that this defense minister has been fired?
I don't think there's any specific shift here. I think the biggest thing that this has is, potentially there's an upside here and if you think about U.S.-China military to military cooperation, which is that Li Shangfu had been sanctioned by the U.S. government, and so that created a big obstacle to military to military talks, which have really suffered a lot, especially since China canceled and suspended some of those military to military areas of dialogue last year after Speaker Pelosi's trip to Taiwan. So, the fact that Li Shangfu had been sanctioned was adding to that difficulty in engaging on the military to military talks. And so maybe there's an opportunity here as we get a new defense minister to maybe, kind of have a little bit of a fresh start on that front, but we'll see.